Hello to you, dear followers of the Scene Psycho channel. Today we're going to talk about the tragic life of Bojack Horseman. Bojack Horseman's life story is a bitter account of the life of a man who faced an existentialist crisis and could not find meaning or purpose in his life. Despite this, he was not a Hollywood actor who lives in Berry Hill and everything is provided for him. But in many ways, we can relate to Bojack and see ourselves in him. Bojack was constantly humiliated by his parents during his childhood and even after that, and he didn't have the right role model to form a balanced character and necessary mental mechanisms to face life's problems, and he entered the Hollywood acting world as an adult, where there is a lot of competition and pressure to succeed, and everyone is undermining others and using the situations that arise for them. So maybe the environmental conditions have never been fair for Bojack, but as an adult who is responsible for his life, Bojack doesn't use many of the opportunities he has, and this makes him remain in misery. In this video, we're going to examine 3 of the aspects that could give meaning to Bojack's life and pull him out of misery. These 3 parts include family and friends, work and emotional relationships, all of which are messed up by Bojack. It is difficult to blame Bojack for his relationship with his family. His parents, Beatrice and Bojack Horseman, both blamed their son for not being able to divorce and blamed him constantly. As a child, Bojack was only a victim of emotional abuse by his family, but as an adult, his relationship with his family makes a series of mistakes. In the beginning of his career, Bojack constantly tries to get his mother's approval by inviting him to the television show and to please her, but Beatrice shows that she is still a stubborn person. Bojack can't deal with this problem, and this makes him become a person who doesn't value anything and complains about others all the time. From his father, Bojack learns to insult others and make others feel out of place, which affects his way of dealing with others and his responsibility. People who complain a lot about others are usually not responsible people either, because they can always blame something or someone for their actions. Instead of trying to understand the effects of his family and correcting his negative traits, Bojack constantly seeks their approval and tries to take revenge on his mother. And in this way, he can't end his confusion. And this has a negative effect on his relationship with his family and friends. You can open a new dimension to give meaning to your life by just devoting a suitable and quality time to your friends. But Bojack's treatment with his friends and people around him is such that it takes away this possibility from him. Bojack's behavior is between 2 poles, negative and positive. Sometimes he spends all his time and energy and behaves very friendly, and then suddenly disappears or runs away from the other side. The intermittent behavior confuses his friends and those around him and creates a void in their lives. This situation causes them not to get too close to the tyrant to protect themselves, and of course they don't see the tyrant too much as a reliable person. Bojack's alternating behavior reflects his inner conflicts. When he feels that he has attracted the other party, or so to speak, he has won, he starts verbally harassing and disrespecting the other party. Bojack subconsciously doesn't see himself as a lovable person. His capacity to be loved is limited, and he deliberately avoids reciprocal relationships to escape the responsibilities of such relationships. We will open this point more in the section of emotional relationships. We know that helping our loved ones is something that makes us feel good and confident and works wonders in our relationships. Bojack has the ability to help others in terms of intelligence, personality, and finances, but his obsession with his past and his problems makes him self-centered both in his conversation and in his work, and he can't create a meaningful and mutual relationship with his friends. Examining Bojack Horseman's career allows us to see how he deals with the issues of having a purpose in his life. In his youth, we see Bojack turning to stand-up comedy. This movement can be seen as a kind of defense mechanism called reverse reaction, in which the person seeks to discharge his negative energies in the opposite way. Bojack wants to replace the disappointments and bitterness of his life with humor and making people laugh. This is a very positive step for Bojack. On the other hand, playing the role of secretariat who was Bojack's childhood hero, becomes a long-term goal for him. Bojack doesn't drink alcohol at the beginning of his career and has a healthy relationship with Herbs and Charlotte, and is generally satisfied with his work. But getting famous will cause Bojack to start interfering in the horsing series, and his relationship with Herb will be damaged. Horsing Around was a project that was made possible thanks to Herb and made Bojack happy. But this situation ends for Bojack when he invites his mother to the stage as an audience. After that, Bojack and his mother go out to eat and Bojack asks about the show. As always, Beatrice starts criticizing Bojack's work and makes the show look superficial and worthless. In this way, after a successful start in his career, Bojack begins to doubt the value of what he's doing. At the same time, he distances from her. Money and fame could give him the possibility to sleep with different people and use alcohol and drugs. And these factors make Bojack not to have and not to be able to deal with his problems. After Horsing Around ends, he stays away from his work for 18 years and only fills his time by watching his series again. Repeating the series gives Bojack a false sense of security and control over his life. Unlike other periods of his life, reviewing that period doesn't bring him the feeling of regret because it is shown on the TV frame. He is the hero of the story and the happy ending is always waiting. Horsing Around keeps Bojack in a fantasy world and in addition lowers his self-confidence as an actor. People know Bojack as the horse that was in the Horsing Around, something that Bojack hates. Bojack's lack of self-confidence make him disappear until the middle of filming the most important role in his life, and then he doesn't think he deserves an Oscar. The interesting point here is that although Bojack turns from a sitcom actor into a movie star in the course of the film, he is much happier and calmer in the era when he is an unknown actor. The reason for this case goes back to the topic of Horseman series, where Bojack has a family on a stage that gives him love and hope, and this is exactly the piece of puzzle that Bojack is looking for. According to Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, loving requires a kind of acceptance of vulnerability. When you fall in love with someone, both physically and mentally, you become so close to the other party that you share all your desires, wishes, and fears with them. This level of trust makes you vulnerable. And this is where Bojack, who is the source of unresolved personal problems, gets into trouble. Let's start with Diane, someone who was secretly looking for Bojack for at least one whole season. The first time Diane and Bojack see each other, Bojack is not attracted to Diane at all. This happens when Bojack sees that Diane is having trouble communicating with others and having a good time at a party. In the first conversation, Diane expresses pessimistic views about the party and her problems in high school. After that, in the process of writing Bojack's biography, they talk about their past and the difficulties they have in adapting to life. And Diane sometimes makes comments about Bojack's wrong view of life, which is encouraging and hopeful for Bojack. But even if Diane was not in a relationship with Mr. Peanut Butter, the idea that she and Bojack could make a good couple seems far-fetched. Maybe Bojack and Diane can both raise their issues and problems in their relationship and reach mental relief, but their conflicts with their past and the crisis of meaning in life are so many that they can never reach a peace where they can solve their problems. In simpler words, they are very similar and can't complement each other. Bojack has this problem with many people with whom he enters into an emotional relationship. Bojack's goal in establishing an emotional relationship is to repair the wounds left by his mother and to make up for the past. And that is why he abandons everything in the middle of the filming of Secretariat and goes to the city of Tusoga in New Mexico to meet someone named Charlotte, which he once liked to find in the hope of a new beginning. Unaware that Charlotte has been married for a long time and this is the only Bojack who is in the past and still is staying there. Among all the people Bojack has been with, Princess Caroline is probably the best option for him. She is an independent, efficient, and stable character who really loves Bojack and can help him both in his career and managing his life. But maybe the fact that she is always available has made Bojack not value her as much as he should and doesn't want to fight for her. In general, love and interest throughout Bojack's life is a conditional concept, a concept that is never mixed with confidence and mutual trust and hope for the future, and it is resolved in the sea of Bojack's internal conflicts. Thank you for staying with me until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to the Scene Psycho channel and write your comments and ideas about Bojack and this video in the comment section for me. Thank you until the next video. Bye!